Hello everybody, this is Mike, also known as Win 5 Get 1 Free, and welcome back to Fast Cars Clear Gyms. We had a week off last week, you know how it goes, but we are back again this week. Thursday nights are once again interesting. Because I know that everyone's Thursday night is usually boring without me in their life. I know I won't take full credit, I'll just, But anyway, we're gonna open up on a scene here. We get the plain walls of the community center where you guys met last time. We see the clock. It ticks, and we hear the as kind of the air is kind of dead, you know. We get a shot that goes across the wall that has a bunch of kids' drawings for some donation drive where the parents had to pay $1 or $2 for each sheet, you know. And we've got like, we get a shot across the linoleum floors, catching 3 seats with each of our 3 protagonists lower quarter of their legs in these foldable chairs going across. And then we have a 4th seat with no one there. We see then a shot of Bickle leaning against the wall, casually, tapping his finger on his hand and looking at his watch and then looking at the wall. And then we get the shot of all of you. 3 filled seats, 1 empty seat, all of the metal folding chairs in the middle. There's a desk and a projector. There is a tape player right by the projector. Finally, does anybody have anything that they're saying while they're just waiting in this kind of just boring community center?
What's got you all worked up, Bickle? Worried?
And he looks at you with kind of those dead eyes. No, just waiting.
Well, let's get this Alcoholics Anonymous meeting up and running already, shall we?
Says, boss man said we have to wait for 4th.
That's it, man. Wait for. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I hope he's better than the last jackass.
Otherwise, he might just meet the end of my bet.
Well, let's not leave too much blood in the streets, shall we? It tends to draw too much attention.
Hey, you tell Bickle that.
You know what? You know what? In that particular situation, it was fine and made sense. We were already trying to set people up to be the patsies. I guess probably I guess I should correct for present company and say let's not drop any bodies that don't have an obvious lead to somebody who's not us.
Yeah, and Bickle kind of smirks and says, we made front page news. Gang war, deadly. Ukrainians deciding to fight with Serbians. Who would have thought? And
lovely.
Yeah. And kind of as you guys are maybe about to continue this conversation, the door opens kind of loudly, and you see this old woman who's dressed, well, not old, she's middle-aged. She's got a bobbed haircut. She's dressed in kind of this like floral, like sundress, and has practical white sneakers on. She pops in and has like a tray of brownies and is like, "Oh goodness, I am so sorry. I did not mean to be late, y'all." And walks in. Bickle makes a comment like, "Took you long enough." And she says, "Oh honey, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize. I forgot that you had a walnut allergy, and I had made some of these brownies with walnuts. But then I realized, oh shucks, Bickle's needing no walnut, And he's like, it's fine. Set the brownies down. Go sit down. We've got work." And she walks over and she says, Pickle, where are your... You haven't even introduced me to your friends. And like...
I think Khan's already got his hand out, like, for, like, a brownie and whatnot. He's like...
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like... He didn't really even say much, just sort of like, I'm putting my hand out because you look like you want to give people brownies, and I
Yeah.
kind of want a brownie.
And yeah, no, she's got napkins and everything, and she like takes a napkin, hands Bickle a brownie, hands all of you a brownie. And as she does it, she says, I'm so sorry. My name is Pamela. Of course, that is a code name. I'm not actually Pamela, but my name is Pamela for these present dances. And like hands all of you a brownie, and she like looks at all of you with like this really just like plain and sweet face, and is like, and y'all are?
I'm Khan. And it just fucking... Is he kind of like... like inspects the brownie, kind of looking at it, and he goes... And he goes, you, anything besides usual brownie stuff and walnuts in these? And they
Oh
special,
no,
you know what I mean?
no, these are walnut free. You see, Bickle has a bit of a walnut allergy. I should have asked if any of y'all had allergies. I used real lard as the shortening, and don't worry, that butter is actually farm fresh butter. So these are going to be very rich. Are any of y'all diabetic? Actually, you know, I actually know I have some friends who have the diabetes. I could next time I could make some sugar free if and that's what's needed.
Nobody's told me I'm diabetic yet, so... And he takes a bite.
Yeah, and she says, "Well, Lord bless your health, and I hope you stay that way."
He just kind of... He seems rather intent on the brownie at
Yeah,
the moment.
and it's a damn good brownie too. It's like
He's
one of
like...
the better brownies you've had in your life.
Mike?
It's just a non sequitur that he seems to be paying less attention to the world around him than the brownie.
Oh yeah, of course. What were you saying?
Mike?
Seems to be.
You don't know how many alarm bells you've set off with this character for me.
Oh, I kind of do.
Joker is not as worried as she should be, as I think he should be. But yeah, try us one of the brownies. Name.
Yeah, again,
Name.
good brownies. Oh,
So I sniff it, look at the
Mhm.
brownie, and just cram the whole thing in my mouth. Like, fuck it, let's go.
she says, "Well, aren't you an eager beaver? Well, this is why I made a tray of a dozen." And she sets them. She sets them on the projector table without even like any concern for like, oh yeah, there's a projector and a tape deck on there. Like she just sets it right next to them. She says, "If any of y'all need it, napkins are up there. I would ask you politely to use a napkin when grabbing a brownie. I like all y'all, but I don't know your hand washing habits."
Joker probably with his mouth full. Name's Joker. These aren't bad.
Yeah, and she's like, "Well, thank you, Mr. Joker. Oh, and Mr. Man with the mouthful of brownie, what was your name again?"
Mikey,
Oh,
grab me another brownie.
yeah, definitely. Sorry, 1 second. And at this point, Travis says, or not Travis, Bickle. I watched goddamn Taxi like literally the other day, Taxi Driver, and now I'm calling Bickle Travis. But no, Bickle is like, "Okay, we've had enough of social club," as he's like wiping brownie crumbs out of his thick mustache. He walks over and says, "If everyone will have seat, orientation will now begin." And he turns on the projector, and he
By the
takes.
way,
Oh,
by
go
the way,
ahead.
I just want you guys to know that by the end of this, probably the two people who ate the most brownies are probably going to be Khan and Mikey.
Yeah.
There's like this low key race. Like one of them sees the other one
Mhm.
grab one, they grabs the next one.
I
So
love that.
this not even like a stated thing or like it just kind of like a motherfucker. He's going to eat all the brownies. I better get another one.
Mm-hmm.
There might even be a couple I sneak in that you won't see.
I'm sure we both sneak a couple that nobody else notices.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. No. Literally. Fucking Bickle takes only one brownie just to be polite, like sort of thing. But yeah. So he's like he takes a tape out of the inside of his jacket pocket, and like they set it in, and he pushes it down, hits play, says, and you hear this voice. Give me 1 second. But yeah, you hear this voice, and it's like, log for job part 1. You 4 have been selected because you are good at what you do. But I see potential in all of you being even better. My name is Plainview, and I will be the man writing your checks, your operation budgets, and pawing over every detail of every job that you do. Now, at this point, I am not trying to intimidate you, only set expectations. I need people with thorough discretion. So, that is what I expect. I don't care if you end up in jail. I only care if you talk before you get shivved. I also do not care if you leave bodies behind. The only thing I care about is the police not questioning where those bodies came from or who made them. I have some connections, and I can deflect some difficulty. However, I am unable to protect you from everything. If you are going to make a headline, then you best be sure the headline does not mention you. And at this point, Bickle walks to each of you, and he hands you a gem, like a glass gem with a foggy center. These look almost identical to the gems that you heisted. And the gems you are being handed are the same kinds of gems that you were given, that you stole for me from the Waltons. You see, members of the Serbian mafia decided that there was something that they wanted that I owned. I politely disagreed. You're probably wondering, what is so special about these gems? Well, they aren't clear-cut, that's for certain. Allow me to give you a history lesson. And at this point, Bickle flicks on the projector, and it goes to a map of North Africa. He says, I don't suppose that many of you are very familiar with the Berber tribes. However, if you are, consider this a refresher. If you are not, prepare for a 202 level college analysis. And like there's a slight chuckle. The Berbers of North Africa were nomadic tribes. They happened to be some of the best traders as well, and ended up having their seeds planted in Morocco, where they ended up, many of them, splitting off and making a home, becoming trader kings of North Africa, dealing mostly with Spain and, of course, dealing with Italy and other areas on the coast. When the Berbers were still in tribes, there was one particular tribe of Berbers known as the Kharif, who found themselves in possession of a large amount of uncut gems. These could have been used for trade purposes, however, they held somewhat of a holy significance to them. Maybe it was the piece of wealth that they carried through the desert. I'm not one for much of mythology. What I am for is history. There were in total 47 of these gems that they carried with them, and the reason we know the exact number is because of another situation. In the late 1800s and early 1900s, Vicky France decided to send large swaths of colonists into northern Africa, reaching into Central Africa. One of these men was Jean-Yves Callier, a Frenchman who believed that these rocks were to belong to him. After fighting with the seeds of the Berbers known as the Kabylians, he decided that these gems that they held were worth quite a bit of money. He took them and sent them to Switzerland for one gem cutter, Benno Erminger, to cut them. These gems were cut in a special way. You see, they weren't fully compressed diamonds, and the central cores of them had already had chisels from some ancient Berber ritual. Some might see this as an imperfection to lower the value. However, Benno Erminger saw this as opportunity. He sold the story after clean cutting the outside of the gems, as these being strange, clandestinely made religious artifacts, and of course, they sold very well. You see, trinkets from the Southlands were popular in Europe at the time. Now, to end the boredom and begin the true relevance, these gems have bounced around for quite a while, and I've seemed to fully develop an eye for them. You just got 12 of those gems into my possession, and have done very well in doing so. I would like to have the rest of them as well, and conveniently, there are a few more in America. And they aren't just in America. I've made sure that they had to be diverted through here. And it's at this point, Bickle flicks the map again, and it changes, or flicks the projector again, and it changes to a museum. And he says, "The museum downtown, the Natural Museum of Geology, happens to have a few of these rocks on hand. 5 of them, to be exact. They won't be in the museum. However, they will be around the museum. One Joanna Marshall happens to be a museum curator there who has been in my pocket for a certain amount of time, quid pro quo and such. She's going to be our inside lady. And what she's doing is currently diverting these to the Vanham jewelry store. You might know these as some of the nicest appraisers in town. She's getting an updated verification, sir, or an updated verification certificate along with updates on the carrot, quality of cut, and of course, quality of the inner cut as well. This is where you are going to make your move. The museum has 24/7 guards. Vanham has 12/7 guards, 14/7 guards. Security might be higher, I'm not 100% sure, but I know it's a smaller venue, easier access to main roads, and on top of that, a jewelry store is generally much less cavernous than a museum. Get me these 5 gems that are currently inside the store, and we will pay you once again handsomely. Currently, you have an operation budget of $75,000, and you will most likely need all of it. The security within the store will be tight, and your timeline will most likely be tighter. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish you the best of luck. And then you hear the tape click, and it goes on with the silent static. Bickle stands at the front and says, "All right, any questions?"
All right, first of all, I'm going to need some of those names again because Con
Oh,
at the
yeah.
very least would be redropping these. So the first one I
Mhm.
need is probably the name of the person who sent a bunch of colonists in, who sort of discovered that the Berber tribes had these gems.
Yes. That would be Jean-Yves Callier.
Jean Yves
Yeah, and
Callier.
I put that in chat.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
And
I'll copy paste all the names that you need.
All right. So in that case, I also need the, let's see, hold on. Let me paste that here.
Mhm.
The name of the person who cut the gems and then sold the story.
Yep. So that's Benno Irmager. And actually, is anybody here like kind of specialized in rocks?
No.
No.
Not really.
Okay.
You
Well,
hired
if anyone, gotcha. If anyone was, that name would definitely ring some bells because he was kind of like amongst the gym community, he's kind of like a known quantity of like this
You know,
dude cut big rocks, you know.
you know, now that I think about it, it would make sense if Khan knew something about that. I mean,
Yeah.
his whole thing is that he is a grifter and a mastermind. So in order to continue the pretense that he knows more than he's ahead of everybody, he knows a little bit of a lot of different things.
Make me an
Especially since,
intelligence roll, actually.
okay, give me a second here. I'm typing here. Whoa, go back. I'm making sure I have the descriptors of who these people are so I remember them.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it doesn't play into the story itself, it's something
Oh
I
no,
feel
I
like
like it.
Khan would name drop it one way or another.
Oh,
It
for
is,
sure.
and
And
then the
these,
name of our contact.
yes, the name of your contact is Joanna Marshall.
All right. And she works at the jewelry store? No, she works at
No, she
the.
works at the museum. She's actually getting she put in the order to have the rocks transported to the Vanham jewelry store to get recertified and to have the cut and carriage, like reset up.
Hold on a second. For whatever reason, this thing. What are you doing? Oh my god. This thing.
Huh.
Oh, maybe it's because of copy and paste. Contact at the at the museum, and she's the one who diverted the gems
Yes.
to the Venom.
I do have a question.
Yes.
Well, considering there's going to be lots of jewels,
Yes.
are we
Take what
only allowed? I'm not
He
just
says-
thinking about it from a personal point of view. If
He's-
these are
Oh, go
just
ahead.
a part of a large group of gems taken, it'll be quite a bit harder to pinpoint the exact target.
Exactly my thought as well. I'm glad we are tracking. We are going to be taking this heist like a normal gem heist, but we will be hitting the back.
Well, we don't. We've got to make it look like we were doing something, right? Because, by the way, let me see how I make that.
Could always try and pin it on someone inside the store, wittingly
That's-
or otherwise.
That is exactly my plan. And I roll. How am I rolling?
You just have to take the dice. You have to do a physical roll, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I can do that. 5. That's
5?
for the Benno Imager.
Okay. Yeah, 5. Yeah, you've heard that name before. He definitely is like a known quantity. He was kind of an older gem cutter back whenever Switzerland, like way back, like he died a little bit before World War II.
Right.
But he's like where a lot of like the pre-World War II Nazi gems were actually cut too. And that's kind of his claim to fame is like, yeah, he cut gems from all around the world, but like he's got that like industrial German wealth like cutting and like jewelry making.
All right. So that's that. So obviously we're going to need a lot of intel here before we even get started. So if anybody's good with the computers and tech stuff, I might start trying to track down whatever we can find out about the security systems for this Venom jewelry store. And if we can find a way to hack into their into whatever, like their website or into their system somehow, might not hurt to see if they've got it on file where they're keeping these gems specifically. We definitely want to make sure, as you guys already figured, to make it look like it's normal jewelry store robbery. You don't. The same theory as hiding one body among a bunch of them. Only, a lot fewer bodies and, a lot fewer cops. Hopefully. But, and we'll need information. We'll need intel on anybody that we can get intel on from the people that work there. Who's the most likely person we can pin it on? How do we make it look like it was them and still come away with the gems? That sort of thing. And it might not hurt for somebody to go talk to Joanne. So, what are we thinking, team?
Well,
I don't know. I pull out my computer and start fucking going at it and trying to look up the jewelry store and their stuff already while you're all yammering away.
hell
Right.
yeah. Give me a hacker intelligence roll. So you'd use your dice for hacker and your dice for intelligence. All right. A 7, that's pretty good. So you get, you look and online you find the blueprints for the building. They're a couple years out of date, but they're definitely a good starting point. And let me draw those up while you guys are doing stuff. Yeah, and for her part, Pamela says, I have been needing to find myself a new necklace. It might be a potentially good idea if, while we do some reconnaissance, I pick something up, potentially.
You want to case the place? What you can observe?
Of course. I mean, if we find out how polite and how nice the staff is, then maybe it'd be even easier than we would think to get stuff. You wouldn't
Fries are
believe what
better
a
than
smile
two.
gets you.
And tell you what, how about this? How's this strike you? Joker, you go with Pamela, in case anything, goes awry, and plus, kind of keep an eye on her. And we'll
Hmm.
just kind of look at Pamela and be like, and Pamela, you keep an eye on Joker. He's got a. He likes
Oh,
to put
don't.
on a bit of a show. Let's keep it low key.
I'm just an innocent bystander in this one. Pretend you're dragging your boyfriend around looking for a necklace. The show will obviously come quite easy to you after that.
Yeah, yeah. And she actually looks at Khan and is like, "Oh, don't worry, honey. 2 of my grandsons are hockey players. I've had to bail them out a few times."
All right, now I understand why I'm afraid of her.
That's reassuring. And he was like, excellent. Mikey, how about you and I go take a trip to the museum and chat with our contacts down there? We're gonna need to.
Okay. Well, he's still like typing away, and he's like, "Yeah, sure, type."
Like, if you're pulling up some plans, maybe we'll go over those on the way. Kind of look at what the best entrance points and physical barriers we might be up against.
Yeah, and Bickle looks at all you guys and is like, good to know. And he pulls out of his pockets 2 sets of keys and he says, who wants the sedan? Who wants the SUV? And before you guys can say anything, Pamela's like, oh, I would love the SUV. That sounds wonderful. I have an SUV. Oh, no personal details. Like,
Khan just kind of shakes his head and says, the sedan suits me fine anyway.
and tosses you guys car keys. And he says, all right, go and be fruitful. And he sees that there's one last brownie. He looks at all you guys and slowly grabs the brownie.
Khan just shakes his head slightly like, well, I guess I'm not grabbing that after all.
But yeah. So does anybody have any particular want to go first? Who wants to go first? Jewelry store or meeting with Joanne?
I'd say maybe go with jewelry store first, because I'm still kind of thinking about various other things that I might need here.
Okay.
Because we're probably going to need to buy some equipment, but I'm preoccupied with what kind of equipment we're going to need based on the potential.
Yeah.
Uh,
All right. Let's see here. So, yeah, you guys drive over there, and 100% in the SUV, she is listening to Dolly Parton.
How did I know?
Yeah, right. She even probably makes a comment of like, Dolly has always been one of my favorite artists. She is just so good.
I always preferred Patsy Cline myself.
she says, "Oh, you like Patsy?" And like while she's driving, she pulls out her cell phone and starts like changing around her Spotify, like
Shit.
weaves a little bit and fucking turns on Patsy Cline. She's like, "I love Patsy too," and like,
I was
yeah.
just
Oh my
trying to
God.
be
Wow.
edgy. I was just
Wow.
trying to be like, oh god, what do you want to fucking call it? I was just trying to be contrarian because I
Oh,
wanted
yeah.
to.
No,
And,
for
yeah.
sure. She's sweet as pie. But
Maybe
yeah.
rhubarb pie with too much
Uh,
fucking sugar. Sorry.
Oh yeah. No, you're probably right. But yeah, you pull up to the store and she kind of like flips down the mirror and starts kind of like adjusting her hair and she says, "Now, honey, you let me do all the talking and you keep your eyes peeled. I need you to tell me what muscle there is and what looks like good targets to steal. And if you've got an eye for security systems, it would be real nice of you to see if you can spot any and note them down."
Sure. Guards, numbers, routines, camera placement, potential alarm boxes, maybe we can get a hold of, and potentially my favorite, air vents.
She says, "Oh, you're one of them creepy crawlies, aren't you? And how are you dressed?"
Creepy. He's probably actually kind of dressed up like his picture. He's got a sleeveless jean jacket with a tank top underneath. Creepy.
Yeah.
Do you have something I can change into?
She says, not on the fly. I don't have my bag with me. Well, other than my purse." And she like starts fussing over your hair and like does that thing where she licks her thumb and pushes a cowlick down. She's like, "Okay, so here's the story. You are my very quiet grandson who I am chaperoning, shall we say. I'm picking up something for myself and I'm just taking you along for the ride because, a babysitter's too expensive." And she like shoots you like a wink.
Now, remember, if you've got an opening for something you need or want, take it. The guards are going to be too busy looking at me.
She says, "Oh, don't worry, honey. I have my own ways." And she
And
kind of
if-
shoots you. Oh, go ahead.
Right. No, yes, go ahead.
Yeah, she shoots you like a smile that belays something a little more devious than she's been doing so far.
Sure.
Yeah.
And by the way,
Are you
the
trying
vents...
to? Are you trying to start smashing and grabbing shit already?
No, he's just saying, look, if you need to watch over somebody's shoulder to,
Okay.
to get like a code or a pin
Oh,
pad
I
or
get
something
you, I
like
get
that,
Yeah.
the guards are going to be focusing on the guy who obviously looks like he's up to no good.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he would say, oh, and by the way, the vents aren't for crawling. I'm too big to fit in those. I was thinking either surveillance through the roof or, my personal favorite, nerve gas.
You are just skin and bones, though. You're too big. You are too hard on yourself. Once this is all done, this first job, I'm going to have to invite you to some kind of proxy home and make us all some dinner. I make a wonderful roast. And like as she's like opening the door to walk out.
Yeah, probably following and go, just as long as you don't end up as the last guy we worked with.
And she like stops, turns around and goes, "Oh, Terminator? No, I'm not a fucking moron." And then turns back around and like walks into the jewelry store.
Glad to know.
Yeah.
Glad to know she's not a fucking moron.
I like this lady.
Yeah. No, but
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, if you were trying to introduce a character to put Joker on a leash, you've introduced the right one.
But yeah, so she walks in, and like walks up to the front counter. And, like as she walks up, she's like, "Okay, okay, Devin, just go ahead and please don't break anything. Just go ahead and look around. Auntie's got to go and get some things."
Exaggerated eye roll, starting to
Right.
go the opposite way as her, hands in pockets, just kind of uninterestedly looking in the display cases, up at the walls, the ceiling.
And this is where I will ask you to make me a perception check. And you can use, I will allow you to use intelligence or, let me see, I'll allow you to use intelligence or, we'll go intelligence or alertness. Oh, wait, no. So it'd be an alertness check, my bad. And you can either use hacker, mastermind, or thief.
Well, Mastermind is only a 4, so we'll stay away from that unless that does something good.
So if you roll the top number, the fours are kind of like very interesting dice, because if you roll a 4 on the d4, you get an opportunity. Just like if you roll a 1, you get a complication.
Let's stay away from those this early in the campaign.
Right. I get you.
Let's go ahead and do Thief and then Alertness. So that's a
Okay.
D6 and a D10.
Yep.
Shit.
Okay, so that'll be a complication and an opportunity. You can either use that opportunity to cancel out, or you can hold that opportunity for a later time.
It was the D10 too. This isn't supposed to
Right?
happen.
Right?
Fine, we'll hold for the moment.
Okay. So you're kind of looking around and you hear her chattering away in the background. You know, something nice, a little bit modest. You know, I'm mainly shopping today, but you might be able to. And as you're kind of looking, you think that like maybe like the clerk is kind of distracted by her. But you like kind of stare at a camera for a while, and then you see a gentleman in a suit walk up to you, and he says, "Is there something I can help you find, sir?"
Sorry, I'm here with... Kind of nodding over to Pamela.
Yeah.
Not like I want to be here.
And he says, "All right." He kind of nods and says, "Well, normally we enforce a dress code, but she seems to have good credit." And kind of like gives you like this kind of like haughty above you look and like walks off.
Do my best to exude like angsty teenager vibes.
Oh, of course, yeah. But a 7 is a good check. And what you get from this is you catch where the cameras are, and also you catch one other thing. So first, let me mark the cameras. Well, I'll mark this first. You catch what the glasses tension security is. It is an IBIS 2021 tension security glass. And let me mark the cameras now. Let's see here. You got a camera here. Got a camera here. Got a camera here. Got a camera here above the door, and one on the outside as well. And yeah, that's about all you get from this.
Question.
Yes.
Am I able to use the opportunity to see essentially where he's coming from and where he's going back to?
Oh, you don't even need an opportunity for that. You notice that his kind of guard patrol, he kind of meanders a little bit, like he's like here, and then he's like here, and then he found you over here, and now he's kind of walking around this way. He seems just kind of like a door goon, you know what I mean? Like someone who kind of just paces around the place, not on a set schedule.
Right.
There we go. Let me real quick erase these so we don't get confused. But you can get a hold to notice something about the guard if you want to use your hold.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Okay. You notice on his name tag, first of all, you get his name. His name is Clayton Terry.
They're dumbasses that put full names on name tags. I love it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But here's the best part, though. You notice on his name tag, it is not just his name. You notice in the lower right-hand corner a small insignia. And that is an insignia for... Give me one moment. Grimwald Security. And you don't need a roll to know who Grimwald Security is because they are... If you've played Payday 2, they're almost kind of like Gensec. They're your number one consumer security for high-value goods. Like, they are good at what they do, generally provide private security, have full sync with security systems. They're tough cookies. They're definitely not like your rent-a-cop. They're like your rent-a-cop's boss.
So they actually do get paid enough to deal with this shit. Okay.
Exactly.
Let's see.
Bless you.
Turning to the gems themselves, what are we... I'm assuming... Yeah, they're not going to have them out in display here. But what do we have here in the showroom, more or less?
In fact...
we looking at diamonds or a mix?
You're looking at diamonds, gold and silver. None of it looks fake, that's for certain. Like, all the stuff have price tags of 200 and up, and that's for the super cheap, dinky-looking stuff.
I was going to say, like,
stuff, yeah, you got stuff for 1,000, 2,000, 5,000. You even see at the front desk, there's a really nice splay necklace that is $1,500.
Okay, so not chump change here.
Oh, yeah. No, and that one is definitely locked in an extra secure case.
See, the bad thing for Joker is kind of thinking, man, you know, there's almost enough of a score right here by itself.
Yeah.
Watching the attendants, how are they opening the cases? Do they have key rings on themselves, key cards?
Yeah, you notice that they are opening it with key rings. But you haven't seen anyone open anything at the front desk yet.
Okay. Let's see here. Now, Donna pulling up anything interesting I can overhear?
Pamela, you mean?
What did I say? Donna?
You said Donna, which, you know, Donna could be another good name for her, but she's named after Pamela Voorhees.
Go ahead.
So, yeah, she's like, at one point, you probably catch her being like, so, just out of curiosity, what are y'all's hours? And like they like say the hours, and she's like, oh, you poor thing. Are you single? Do you have to go home alone? And she's like, yeah. And it's like, well, I can't imagine that late at night. They don't keep you any longer, do they? And like the fucking clerk is totally playing into her hands, being like, oh yeah, well, usually they have us attendants stick around for, you know, an hour and a half afterwards, but we get escorted to our cars. And it's like, oh, well, I'm sure that the big strong men protecting you are very good at that, though. And says, yeah, they're pretty good. It's like, well, I hope that they get to go to their wives in a timely manner. And she's like, you know, I think that a couple of them stay overnight. Oh my goodness, overnight, you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I guess. So, are there any? All right, the guard is just kind of looking around. Cameras. There's got to be an alarm. Some sort of pin pad box around here up front to turn off the alarm when you come in the morning, or arm it when you leave in the morning.
Yes, there is. It's right by the front door. It's got a key on the front of it. It is part of the IBIS security system that they've got.
Okay. All right. Well, it's fortunate that it's up front and not in back. So, security system. What is this? Is this a standalone building by itself, built into like a short strip mall, a part of a larger building?
It's a corner building. So basically, like, you've got the road out front, and then to the right of it there's like a deli, and to the left of it there's like a fancy like restaurant of some variety.
Okay, so this is a standalone. All right.
Yeah.
Let's see. Coming in, did we notice? Well, I'm assuming flat roofs with AC systems on top. Might be worth seeing if we can get in through the roof somewhere. That being said, the easiest route is usually the shortest. It's interesting that you say that the guards escort. That's worth a look. The guards, escort them to their cars, which means they are vulnerable, potentially. Do any of these back rooms? Go ahead.
I was gonna say, while you mull that over, we actually might shoot over to the other folks, if that's cool. Okay, cool. So you guys, So you guys drive this sedan. It's just a standard 4-door like Mitsubishi or something. You guys drive over to the Museum of Geology in town. This generic city that I have not yet given a name, but is not an existing American city. It's definitely a fictional one. You guys go to the museum, and you've already, like, Bickle has already called ahead for you to like let her know, like, oh yeah, they're gonna like be here. You'll need to take your lunch break and go and talk to them. That sort of thing.
Well, on the drive over there, I'm going to let him know that I have a blueprint of that jewelry store that I found online. Yeah, it's a couple years old, but I don't think much has changed in a couple years. Maybe more increased security or whatever, but the general layout should still be the same.
Right.
Do the blueprints, my first question is do the blueprints include a basement level of any type?
The blueprints do not include a basement level.
Okay.
I will show you what they include. Are you on the page? You are. Okay. So the yellow is electric. It has 2 sources of electric on either side of the back end of the building. Let's see here. Let me get you another color. Blue. Blue is roof access. Let's see. Green is like kind of it's like a small garage door situation / loading bay for loading in bulk. It also contains the main back door. There is one more back door, and that is going to be this. Oh no, that's too close to that color. That's going to be this orange. There's one more back door, but that is labeled as an electronic lock, like a maglock door. Seems to be accessible only from the inside. Let's see. And is there anything else that I'm forgetting for your current intel levels? No.
All right. All right, I'm probably going to kind of take a look at this, and I'm probably going to be like, well, I have some ideas about the possibility of dealing with the security systems. It could be expensive or messy. What do you think the feasibility would be if we set up a portable generator with a feedback loop to and then so that when we cut the power to the building, we just hook that up. We jump that power over to the feedback loop, and so that the security systems show as being operational and online despite no power. Because I gotta figure that if they cut the if we cut the power, they're gonna immediately know that their whatever security system they have is offline. If we can make it seem like that whole thing, like it's still drawing the power, like the power that's supposed to be drawn to this building is still being drawn, then that might buy us a little extra time. Is that something that would be feasible? And if so, what would that take?
It might be, but I'm thinking, why don't we just hijack the camera feed and loop it back on a single roll of nothing happening while it doesn't record what we do when we go in there? You know, that old trick of putting up a fake loop of everything being fine while the camera systems are actually off. So when the office receives them, because it may be stored at the store on their database, but that database is also going to go to the security hub to be stored there. So they're going to have access to that security. If we could hijack somewhere in between there and just show the store looking normal when we can walk through there and nobody would have a clue we're in there.
So what would that take necessarily to disrupt the security on that level?
Knowing their IP, gaining access to what their IP is, and knowing what their even the MAT IP, we might need to know that too. But knowing that specific security feed's IP destination will allow us to get into that and have access to it. And then I could record, 30 minutes of footage and just loop that 30 minutes. That transition part's always the tricky part when you feed it. It's fun to do, but you gotta finagle it so it doesn't look like a break and then a start. It's fun. But if we have the security system's individual IP address, then I could hack into it, and then I would be able to gain full access to it and manipulate it the way I want.
Well, let's see what information we can get out of our contact here, but I want to make sure, but start thinking about how that might work and what kind of equipment you might need to make that happen.
In IT.
I've studied a little bit of IT, yes.
Okay, I get you.
I was gonna say, I
was like, that's very accurate.
Scott just knows this shit already. I'm like, well, I'm supposed to be in the mastermind, but I, as a person, do not know IT anywhere near that well. So I'm guessing that's one of those tech things that it makes sense because I got 4 in.
I was about to say, you've got 4 in hacker, so it wouldn't necessarily be your character's forte anyway.
You remind me of something.
But it was
go ahead.
But he was doing that thing where he was kind of like the basic idea and premise was solid. We don't want anybody to know that we were there. How do we make that happen?
Oh, for sure.
That was essentially where he was coming from. He just doesn't know fucking tech at all.
Oh yeah. What were you saying, Gunner?
Sorry.
Well, you've given me an idea of what I need to get for you guys. Is there free Wi-Fi here, like everywhere else on the planet?
Not from the store, but from the restaurant next door there is, and you can kind of get it.
Is there a private Wi-Fi here?
It does look like there's a private Wi-Fi.
Okay.
We'll get back to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So you said you guys have pulled up to the museum at this point?
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably. And I'm probably just like look at Mikey and go, yeah, there's a lot of reasons why you're part of this team. And he's like, do me a favor. Don't end up like Terminator. Keep doing what you do. And he kind of gets out. He just kind of has this look on his face, like, "Wow, this guy has been the key. Was the key of the last job, and he's already proving super useful here."
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't know how much information the Joker's already gathered. So
Yeah.
but we're probably gonna go meet. Probably get out of the car to meet our contact.
Okay.
I
So,
imagine it's that thing where like we go to like a hot dog stand or something stupid like that.
oh yeah, for
Peter,
sure. Like you guys get
Peter.
in. And like you're kind of like asked by like the front desk, like, hello, like, have you ever been here before? Like, are you here for the guided tour?
Uh, Not exactly.
um and the guy behind the desk is like, and he like shuffles through some of his notes and he says, oh, are you the oh, you guys must be the guys who have that collectible for Joanna. Is that right?
Yeah, it was from the Berber tribes.
Says, oh, wow, that's fascinating. You know, we actually have oh, well, you probably already know we currently have a display on the Berbers. That's probably what. Hold on. And like he like gets on the phone. He's like, yeah, Joanna? Yeah. Yeah, hi. Yeah, the guys with the whatever are here. Okay, cool. I'll tell. And like he hangs up and he's like, she'll be right out. You know.
Yeah,
Um,
and I think he kind of does that thing where he's like, he just really kind of shines it off, like, yeah, I knew all I had to do was mention the Berber tribes,
yeah.
kind of like, and he kind of just like, he kind of like moves over to like wherever is sort of off to the side waiting area, and just be
Yeah.
like, fucking, you know, would have been easier if we could have just met her at a hot dog stand.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
And you actually hear, like within like 2 minutes of him doing that, you hear like footsteps of high heels on like the marble-ish tile floor.
right.
It's probably more like granite, but anyway. And you see this woman come out. She's kind of a little bit heavier. She's got like a blonde ponytail going on, like thick rimmed glasses, dressed very professionally. And she like comes up and says like, "Hi, you must be Mr. Khan, and you are his friend Mikey, correct?"
You got it in one.
And he
You got a
says,
place we can talk,
she
preferably
says,
near.
yeah. She says, "Oh yeah, there's a hot dog stand down the street."
Perfect.
Yeah, yeah,
Been craving
and
a hot dog all day.
yeah. I love how your character just always gets the food that he wants. Like, um, but yeah, like so you guys like walk down and like maybe we fast forward to when like you guys are sitting at like this open air patio. Uh she says, "Okay. So, here's the deal. I have them moving the gems I have them moving the gems to or the diamonds the Adamas Karif, they're moving over to the store here in. And she like looks at her like Apple Watch and like scrolls. That's going to be 2 nights from now. They're going to get in probably around 5 o'clock. We have to have them back by 8 o'clock the next morning. Jesta, did you check your chart?
Sorry, I was in the middle of getting ready to type in some stuff. So
Oh, you're
2 days,
good.
and then at
5 p.m.
5 p.m. Oh, Jesus, I'm bad at typing.
I get you. So they'll have them for 13 hours. No, hold on. 15 hours, my bad. He says, after that, they're going to be brought back to us. I would expect that they're probably going to be brought back maybe half an hour to an hour before the 8 o'clock deadline. That's just kind of how they generally operate. Um, but yeah, they're going to be going in a standard Grimwald security armored car from our place, and then they're going to be coming back in the same car, exact same car.
Okay, car and.
She says, also, to make things not suspicious, I also have them looking at some emeralds from South Africa, the Musk lineage, actually. And they're also going to be looking at some diamonds from the Congo. Try not to get all of those mixed up. And if you could not take those emeralds and those diamonds, that would be wonderful, because those are on loan from the British Museum of Natural History and the Smithsonian, respectively.
So the Musk lineage emeralds and the Congo diamonds.
Mm-hmm. And she's like, the Congo diamonds will be easy to differentiate. They won't have that dull-looking core on the inside. They're pure cut rocks.
Okay, so we need to relieve the Congo diamonds and Musk lineage emeralds. So you got any lines on replacements for the for any on what would make a good substitute for those artifacts? So it looks like they're going back.
Well, And she kind of thinks and she says, well, these are unique enough that someone with any kind of trained eye is going to spot it coming out the door. I'm not sure if there's any really good replacement. And she kind of looks at her hot dog and then like looks back at you guys and is like, you guys are paying for lunch, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
We got it. So, how important? So, we're just gonna say that it's not important for these gems to make it back to the museum. Just the
She's
ones that are part of the Musk lineage in the Congo.
Yeah, so all of them are irreplaceable artifacts and insured thusly. However, I know that she's like, I know that the Adamas Karif are going to be taken well care of. As for the other things, no offense, but I can't just assume that the emeralds and the Congo diamonds are going to be not just hawked for value.
Well, I just needed to make sure what was fair game and what wasn't.
Yeah, and she's like,
I'm just saying so that the Adamas Karif goes back to Plainview. There going to be any blowback on you for that?
no, these are going to be 100% insured. Our end is going to be covered completely at the museum, and they're also going to be insured through transit. Well, literally everybody stands to make money from this. The store is going to make money because they are insured, and assuming that you're probably going to take a few other things on the way out, they're insured for that too. The security company, while they might take a little bit of a ding on their credit, are also insured for their transit. So they're going to make money from this deal, even though they're doing their job poorly, if you succeed, that is. And of course, the museum makes their money back from it because they had artifacts stolen when it wasn't in their care. So, really, if you think about it, this is a bit victimless.
Well, I wasn't really concerned necessarily about the victimless part. I was just trying to figure out how well we were worried about what. I'm just kind of worried about blowback off the back end of this thing. You can never be too terribly careful when it comes to something like this. You
Oh,
don't
the
want to.
police will be very interested, but they'll be interested in the modern jewelry. You'd be surprised how low priority artifacts and pieces of the tapestry that make up human history are prioritized by the men in blue.
The men in blue, maybe, but there's a lot of people who make a lot more than those guys that understand that value,
The
and
FBI
those
will
guys,
probably. Oh, go ahead.
and those guys will tend to, push the guys in blue. I
Yeah,
haven't
and
known a cop yet that didn't want to curry favor with a wealthy, uh, shall we say, victim, even if they're victimless. You know what I
well,
mean?
these gems are a bit of a peculiar bit. They actually happen to have no owners, yet many owners. The entire set is completely disparate and therefore not worth much unless they're going to collectors. They're impure gems, so on the raw market, they're not worth anything. And most people don't really care about the backstory after a while. Yes, the Ermiger lineage gives them a little bit of money, but Nazi diamonds and gold and jewelry often bring a lot more than something from North Africa. People really don't care all that much. The owners of these particular gems happen to be a hobbyist who happened to earn them from his grandfather upon his grandfather's passing. He'll probably be pissed, but he seems like a brat. I've dealt with his type before. You know, standard, well, I guess I'm doing my civic duty by putting in a museum.
I see, I see. so this uh so this guy and the police are the most interested parties in this. And as you say, the police they're gonna be mostly interested because this guy's interested. Otherwise they'll be interested in, shall we say, extenuating crimes.
Yes, and if you're going to steal gems, or if you're going to steal jewelry from the store, you know as well as I do, the FBI is going to get involved. It's a large major crime.
Well,
It's
I
federal.
may
They
not
have
have a
jurisdiction.
Hmm.
I may not have a whole lot of opportunity to not take that risk. Prefer not to take any greater risk than I have to, but kind of hard to do these things alone. And
Yeah.
when you bring in other talent, they have their own opinions too.
Yeah, and she says, "Oh, I understand other talent." And she actually like reaches into her purse and pulls out a card and hands it to you.
All right.
And it's her business card. And you notice on the back there is a number with an area code that is not familiar to this area or even this country. It
Mhm.
doesn't have a 1 in front of it, it has a 3-5 in front of it. She says, if you ever happen to need somebody to count the veracity of something, but you don't want to go through traditional channels, I work for a modest fee.
Interesting. I may have to keep this on hand.
She says, being a docent doesn't make a whole lot of money, and I don't think my superiors are wanting to upgrade me to a curator anytime soon.
No, no, we all seek out to satisfy those thrills.
Yeah, you say
He's
as she finishes her hot dog hungrily.
he's like, Yeah, he's just kind of like his hot dog by comparison to everybody else's probably looks like really fucking sloppy because he's just put a
Uh-huh.
whole bunch of shit on it.
Oh
But
yeah.
he's just like there's like relish and mustard and ketchup and all kinds of shit dripping off of it. There's like onions,
Mm-hmm.
chili. And
Oh,
it's like,
oh, of course. You got the works. You got the works, dog.
the works. Oh yeah.
This is Vinny's hot dog stand, and that is the
This
Vinny
is
dog.
Yeah, it is the sloppiest fucking hot dog you could possibly get. He's just like every other bite he has to take a napkin and like wipe the corner of his mouth from all the big
Yeah.
smudges of shit.
Very, very season or very episode one House of Cards, and I am very hungry. Like
Yeah, and compared to Mikey's, which is a plain hot dog and gets a bad look from the vendor for ordering a plain hot dog.
yeah. No, yeah, and like Vinny, the hot dog stand owner, just has like this very Turkish like demeanor of like, what, you order only hot dog with no ketchup, no mustard? If you want to be plain, like sort of thing.
Like, yeah.
But yeah, she starts to get up and says, and one other thing. Um that guy that you're working for, I would well, I would keep an understandable ear. He's definitely able to make some offers I've never heard before.
Yeah, well, he's able to make offers in the most really corporate way I've ever heard anybody pitch a crime. Let me tell you, it kind of
Hmm.
reminded me of that time that I walked out of a Walmart orientation.
I love that. And she's like, that's a story you'll have to tell me if you pay me. Have a good one and tell Bickle I said hi. And just walks off.
And Con just goes, yeah, you gotta love it when the information dealer just sits down and gets right to business and tells you what you need to know right off the bat. I didn't even have to ask a lot of questions. It's
Yeah.
he just kind of looks. He looks at it, and I think maybe he looks at like Mikey, and he goes, "That was a master at work. I'll let you decide which of us was the master." Personally, I think it's that guy, and he points to the hot dog stand owner.
Yeah, and you see like Vinny just like serving like a kid a hot dog and being like, don't choke on it, eat it slowly, like sort of thing.
Yeah, he takes a big bite out of this fucking honking hot dog full of everything.
Right.
Okay,
go
so
ahead.
I have one problem with this whole plan. There are three sets of gems. No, listen.
Yeah.
We have 3 sets of gems going to the jewelry store together. 2 of them
Yeah.
cannot be touched at all. 1 of them can be. Now, that's going to give something away that we were looking for something specific. We have to take the emeralds and the diamonds out of the jewelry store and give them back to the museum later. But if we don't touch the diamonds and the emeralds, it'll give off a vibe that we knew what we were looking for and everything else in the store was just a throw off. We need the diamonds and the emeralds to throw off the scent of what we're doing. We can take the emeralds back to her and diamonds later.
I've got a slightly
Yeah, but then
different
they'll
take
start
on
asking. Then they'll start asking where she got the emeralds and the diamonds back from.
that. Like
It's
I
gonna
said,
depend on where they're It's gonna depend on where they're stored at. If they're all stored in the same place, we're gonna have to figure something out. But
look,
if they're stored in separate places, it might simply come off as we were smashing and grabbing what we could, and we didn't necessarily need to grab the others because we can just play it off like we did grab everything. We didn't find everything.
I understand I'm not here, but I was just going to say, take 2 bags, put those 2 in one bag along with a couple of other things, put the rest in the other bag, leave the second bag behind on accident, make it look like it was an amateur job.
Actually, not a bad idea, actually.
No, I didn't. It is a pretty good idea.
That's more clever than I would have thought of, so kudos. um,
Well, I was
yeah.
already trying to figure out somebody we could try to pin this on too.
Mm-hmm.
Stick it with an unconscious security guard. Or a
My
dead
thoughts
security guard,
exactly.
even.
Well, the dead
It-
security guard would make less sense. We're gonna need to buy a bottle of booze because we need this unconscious security guard to smell like he's been on a bender. Maybe buy some drugs and put him in his pocket, so it looks like he was just really fucked up. They won't believe anything he says.
Well, yeah. Question is, why would you be drinking during a heist, though? Yeah, my thought with a capped
You're making
security
it look
guard.
like you're making it look like it's an amateur job, right?
Fair.
Hmm.
My whole big thing is, whoever is left behind is going to be considered the accomplice, not the mastermind, and they'll start looking through their own security for the mastermind.
No, I get that. But that's why you don't leave just one unconscious security guard there. You leave two unconscious people there at least. And you gotta make it look like
My nerve gas idea is actually looking pretty good now. Trickle it in through the AC, knock shit out, then you hit the yeah. You hit probably you'd want to hit the cameras first, then while they're trying to figure out what the hell's going on with that, then you hit them with the nerve gas. The one problem would be nerve gas, but hey.
Yeah.
like I say, and like I said, we may not even need to go through all the trouble of making it look like it was one of the security guards, because if these Congo diamonds and the Musk lineage emeralds aren't stored in the same place as the Adamus Karif, then we could probably just get away with the idea that we won't take everything out of there. We won't have time to. Even if we have time to, if we're trying to make it look like it was a street robbery, then we wouldn't make it look like we had time for it. If we're trying to make it look like it was an inside job, then we really need to work on figuring out who the personnel for Grimwald Security is, who's weak, who's got a weak point, like who on the Grimwald Security team would this be believable for. So we need some investigation into the Grimwald Security personnel.
I had an idea about that. I had an idea about that when we get back to it.
And I was actually about to say, it seems like a very natural point to get back to you guys.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've got Pamela, who is currently trying on necklaces,
Right.
but being very careful to not actually touch them to her skin. Just kind of doing that thing where she holds the ends and then like holds it up to the mirror around her neck, kind of, and then wipes them off, that sort of thing.
All right. So, do they have a bathroom here?
They do not.
Okay. They have a private Wi-Fi system. Well, I mean, yeah, it does. They probably do, but it's an employees-only restroom.
Right.
And that would be in the back, towards this way.
Okay.
So, hold on. I got a random question that you need to consider. You said the business next door has an open, free Wi-Fi signal, but what is that business's hours of operation?
I'm guessing you said it's like a fancy sit-down?
Yeah.
Okay, they're going to be probably closed at 10, if not sooner. Unless they're a bar. If they're a bar, you're going to probably see the standard 2 a.m.
Yeah. And actually, I'll just give you this one. You don't need to like go outside and look at it. It's a fancy restaurant with a bar. They close at midnight. Okay.
Which means you're going to want to give it an hour afterwards for the rest of the crew to go home. We'd be looking at a 2 a.m. Let's see here. Are any of the guards packing?
Yes, all of them have a handgun at their side.
Okay.
and you actually spot 4 guards visible. 2 at the door, 1 walking around, and then 1 at the back door, at the the door to the office.
Gotcha. All right. I think it's I want to test competency on their end. I have a couple of ideas. The first one involves a replay of last session. But there are probably no wet floor signs out, so we're gonna have to make do with some falling change.
Falling chain?
Change.
Oh.
Taking a coin out of a pocket, kind of, what do you want to say? Nonchalantly.
Yeah.
Makes it look like, quarter or something, slips out of pocket, try and go to step on it, and slip and fall.
All right. Give me a... That would be a grifter, and we'll call it agility.
Man, I wish I had held on to that plot point too.
I
could have used it.
You get another plot. You get a plot point at the beginning of every heist.
Shit, could I use my distinction for this?
Which is your distinction again?
In the spotlight.
Oh yeah, totally. So add that D8 to it as well.
Okay, and you said it's agility and grifter.
Yes, and you don't need to use plot points for distinctions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You can use it to make something the top die result.
So I roll 3 dice?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. The agility, which is 1d6 plus 2d8.
Nice. Okay, so a 5, a 4, and a 5, so that's a 10. That is a decent success, yeah. So you slip, and how does this go?
Probably make like I hit the back of my head on the ground, clutching that.
Yeah, immediately Pamela looks over and goes, "Oh my goodness, Derek," and no, she's like, "Oh my goodness, Devin," and runs over. It's like, "Oh my boy, are you okay? Are you okay?" And you see a couple security guards and the lady behind the counter walk up.
Why are there 5 of you?
She's like, "Oh honey, there's only 3 of me." And she's patting your head.
Yeah, he's doing his very best to look dazed and winded.
Yeah.
But okay. Can I have a drink of water? Kind of struggling to get into a sitting position.
And the guy from earlier who walked over walks over to you and kind of looks down and reaches his hand and says, "We don't have a water cooler here," as he reaches his hand down to help you up.
Well, that's kind of shitty. Grabs hand.
Yeah, lifts you up and says, he's like, "We'd ask if you would respect not using harsh language in here, sir."
Yeah, Just, which one of you am I talking to? Making a big show of being unstable on his feet. Yeah.
For sure. And if you would like to make me an alertness roll.
Sure.
Maybe an alertness and grifter.
I can do that. Let's see.
Oh yeah, you can definitely tell. First of all, you get an opportunity. Second of all, you can definitely tell this guy knows this is a Jimmy slip and fall act. He's
sure.
looking right through you.
Hmm.
He's keeping the veneer of politeness, but like you look in his eyes and you can see that he is no man's fool. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Let's see here. Trying to think. Now, how long can I hold on to these plot points? Do I need or this hold?
This the hold?
Yeah.
Oh, you used the hold, I thought, didn't you?
I'm sorry. What you said?
Oh,
Just
oh, no. For that hold, you can use it. You can hold on to it till the end of the session.
okay. Hmm. I think I could pass that off to. Actually, I can use social center.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the same scene as another crew member. I could
Mm-hmm.
always just kind of pass it off to. I want to call her Donna again. I'm sorry.
Pamela.
Yeah, Pamela.
Mm-hmm.
Pass it to Pamela. See if she can do anything with it. I'm drawing a blank at the moment.
Yeah. She Well, let's see. Okay, so she is going to roll Grifter. She is going to roll Willpower. And she is also going to use her distinction Sweet as Pie, which is going to give her 2d8 plus 1d10. There we go. Hey! So that's a 14.
And we just generated another one.
Yeah. So these are opportunities, not plot points.
Gotcha.
So yeah. So opportunities are like things for like per session. Plot points are per like heist.
Gotcha.
Which, seeing how we're splitting our heist into 2 sessions, maybe even 3, depending on how long it takes, you know.
Right.
But yeah. She goes, "Oh my goodness. Listen, Devin, we should probably get you out of here and get your head looked at. I am so sorry, sir. I did not mean for my nephew. He's had some problems with coordination." And he's like, "Uh-huh." And he's like, and she's like, she stops talking to him immediately. Like she immediately recognizes, no, he's not gonna crack, and like turns to the clerk and is like, "Listen, I'm gonna escort him out to the car. Can you get me that necklace, the one that has the moonstone in it? And I will be right back in to purchase that. I am so sorry." And she's like, "Yeah, of course. I'm sorry that this happened, you know." And like it's like totally one of those almost Midwestern level interactions of like, "I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. No, you have no reason to be sorry. Well, you don't either." Like that sort of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And she walks you out, and like as soon as you get out, she's like, "Now, dear, if you wouldn't mind checking out some of the outside of the building, but keep in mind that security guard might be trying to watch you through the front door. This is why we parked around the side, hun."
Yep.
Yeah.
Keep in mind that actually did hurt.
And she's like, "Oh, don't worry. I have some ibuprofen in my purse." And she like
Not a
digs through her
problem.
purse and gets you like 2 ibuprofen.
It didn't actually hurt, but we got to make it convincing.
Oh, for sure.
Got to make
And
her
she's
feel useful somehow.
Oh, for sure. And yeah, she's like, "Now I'm gonna go back in there and work the rest of my magic. Meet me back at the car in 10 minutes or less. I'd prefer less because I'm probably only gonna be about 5 minutes."
Works for me.
Yeah. And she goes back into the store and is like, "I am so," as like the door closes. Um, but yeah, so you are now outside of the building.
Alrighty, that works. Yeah, probably going to quickly move around to the side.
Mm-hmm.
Well, quickly. Make a
Yeah.
big show of getting around to the side of the building.
Right.
And yeah, we're gonna look for the usual roof access. If there's power, if it's a dedicated generator, or if it's just connected to the grid, and any other points of entry, whether that's employee doors, loading bays. I know they know these things, but I don't know these things, so.
Right, right. Yeah, and you get all the intel from this. You notice that Electric One has a outdoor breaker. Electric 2 does not have a breaker. You actually don't even notice Electric 2.
Okay. Let's see here. All right, and there is a loading bay as well?
Yep. Yeah, you notice a loading bay. It's kind of right by the outdoor breaker of Electric 1. And you see the roof access.
Did you name that Italian restaurant Lazzulo's?
Lazzuto's Italian, yeah.
Lazzuto's?
Uh-huh. You know, he says hello. Also, ouch my butthole.
That sounds like most Italian food.
Wow.
God, what a fucking reference.
But okay,
but,
yeah. Get a quick look around. Any additional external security cameras?
External cameras, you notice that there is... I was about to name the deli. I'll just keep it that J for now, and then I'll edit it later. Let's see here. Freehand, red. There is a camera here. And that's like really the only other external camera, except for, of course, the one at the front door down here.
Gotcha. Well, all right. Yep, time to head to the back. Time to head back to the van.
All right. So yeah, you get back to there we go. You get back to the SUV, and Pamela comes out smiling a big old beaming Southern smile. She's got a new necklace on with a big gaudy moonstone on it. And she gets in the car and starts it up and is like, all right, so I got some wonderful information, but we should probably wait until everyone's all together so we can show and tell.
That that guard didn't like me very much. Can't imagine why.
No, I think he saw through the fact that you slipped on your own quarter.
Hey, shit falls out of my pockets. It's got holes. And he does, put a finger through the hole in his jeans.
She's like, oh, honey, let me please sew that up for you. Like, sort of thing as she's... Oh, go ahead.
It's a tactical advantage.
She, like, starts the car and goes, it makes you look like a tactical ragamuffin. And, like, starts to drive the car off. And yeah,
wanted to test the police's response time, but seeing that guard, yeah, we probably know what that is.
Oh,
where is the closest police station to here?
Closest police station, unfortunately, is only 5 blocks away.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about.
They're city blocks, but it's still close enough.
I was gonna say tripping, especially the time of night we're gonna be doing this. It's no.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll have you guys meet back up at this point, unless Team Museum had anything else they wanted to do while they were out in the field.
I think before I do anything else, I kind of need to hear the report from them on what they found out.
Right. So
technically, Khan doesn't know a lot of this stuff, right?
Right. So do you guys meet up at the community center? Do you have another place that you meet up?
Oh, probably back at the community center. I mean, there doesn't seem to be any other place
All right.
we have right now.
Yeah.
We should probably change that. We should probably get some kind of like a safe house, like an apartment somewhere where we can kind of like operate out of.
Yeah. One thing you have noticed, by the way, every time you've gone to the community center, it's always the same room and it's always unlocked for you guys. So that's one thing to note. Probably your employer has just permanently rented it out. Yeah.
Well, shit, maybe we don't need one.
But yeah, so you guys are back at the community center. Bickle, um, he has like some shopping bags, like just like some like essentially Walmart bags, like by his chair. As you guys come in, and you know, um, he you guys get in, and he says, "All right, looks like everyone got something out of this," and pulls out of one of the bags some of those Toll House sugar cookies, and just like hands it to Pamela, and is like, "Okay, is there anything else you ever need me to shop? Don't ask me." She's like, "Oh well, thank you, sugar." Yeah. Um, but yeah, he's like, "Okay, so while I was out running errands, you guys were out doing the fun shit. What do we have figured?"
That's a good question. What'd you guys find out at the Vanhams?
Well, these aren't rent-a-cops. At least not the kind we dealt with at the grocery store.
Hmm. Nice. Uh, any idea what's the security look like? I mean, what's the...
Well,
They have a security company working for them? What's the system look like? I mean,
it's the
what'd you
most.
figure out?
Now, from what I understand, the IBIS 2021 stands for the current year, correct?
Correct.
Well, they've got the most recent version of the IBIS system, the 2021.
Wonderful.
That's not gonna be fun. Um, there are a couple points of entry. There's a loading dock. Did see a connection to the power grid. We could probably cut that wide open. The front door's an option, but there are cameras everywhere. And guards. 24/7, I guess. They're at least going to stay later than the staff. They didn't enjoy my slip and fall routine, so I had to step out for a second. Pamela can fill you in on the rest.
And she's like, of course. So, generally on hand, they keep about, by my math, about $150,000 worth of merchandise on the floor. Some of it has to stay out in the front because they don't have enough space in the safes. The safes are on a timer, so we're probably going to either have to override that or we're going to have to burrow into them. Now, Lily Baird, the girl that I talked to, I happen to know where she lives now. I was inviting her to a crochet meeting that didn't exist and said I could carpool her. She happens to have a copy of the key. If we want to bust into her house and take that, that's probably able. She also was so very nice. She told us that some of the guards happen to play cards in the back room while they wait. It's not supposed to happen, but they do it anyway. And they've got 3 to 5 guards on any given night, most likely because they're going to be having a high shipment. I personally would assume 5 guards, but I'm just not exactly sure on that one. And on top of all of that, turns out that the owner, one Ruben, happens to be a member of the local business club, and that's something that we might take into consideration because if he happens to be a member of the local business club, maybe there's some connections there that we could learn some more about him if need be. But that's about all I got out of them. Oh, and all of those guards are tough cookies. They happen to be from Grimwald Security. I know that all of us have probably had some kind of brush in with them, and they are not afraid to punch an old lady in the eye. I will tell you that.
Yeah, well, I suppose the first thing we need to do is one, we're going to need to figure out who our patsy is. It seems like Pamela may have actually put one in our hands.
Oh, she is so loose-lipped. It would be so easy to even just call it a fault of hers.
I also volunteer the asshole guard.
Oh, Clayton? Yeah,
Clayton Terry.
Yeah, he seems like a real tough cookie. I looked him in the eye trying to cover for little old Joker here, and, well, he wasn't having none of my nonsense.
Well, you shared and I'll share, so we all have everything on the table. Spoke to our contact at the museum. 2 days' time, 5 p.m. They'll have it. They're scheduled to have it for about 15 hours. She says they'll probably try to bring it back 30 minutes early, give that an extra 30 on top of that, maybe take an extra 30. We're looking at probably about 13 and a half hours to get this thing done in the in between. There are some jewels we are not going to touch because they're A, they're not the target. B, there's plenty of enough wealth out there to spread around. And C, we're going to try not to burn an information broker that could be useful in the future. So there is the Musk lineage emeralds and some Congo diamonds there. We're not touching them. I will, and if we do touch them, we're going to plant them on our Patsy. Actually, that's not a bad idea. Solves a lot of problems right there.
Well, if you're thinking what I'm thinking, we happen to have the address of someone who would make a very good candidate.
That's exactly what I was thinking. We could
You know,
particular.
she's like, it's a real shame. I was hoping to play bridge with her one day. And she shoots like this very obviously facetious smile.
Now, if I
Well,
can just figure out how to implicate Mr. Terry, that'd be lots of fun too.
I would consider that to be if we can and we have the time. We overextend on the logic, then it won't work. But if we can find a way to wrap it in, sure enough.
Or if
As
I can
far
just wrap his head around my bat, that would work too.
that's gonna cause a little too much attention. We want this to be clean. So what we
Yes, make it
do,
look like an amateur that does things perfectly clean. Perfect.
we want our end to be clean.
Now,
If you're splattering his face around your baseball bat, that's going to leave some trace behind for the people in the crime scenes department to pick apart and start tracing back.
true. But also, last time I checked, baseball bats don't have serial numbers. But I would have to agree with Mr. Khan. I think we have a nice little narrative. Picture this: a happy little cottage. Clayton Terry comes home. He's been working so hard at the jewelry store, and his wife just so unhappy. I assume he has a wife, by the way. His wife just so unhappy because she doesn't get to see her poor Clayton at night. So, she goes off to do her druthers. And of course, Clayton catches wind. He's a smart cookie. So he goes in and he sees pretty little Lily there behind the counter. Lily's single. She's available. She's got plenty of free time. So what does he do? Well, I'm sure that we can let the police draw the lines between that, potentially.
Well, I don't like the messy. I don't like anything to get too messy. But if we're gonna do it, we're gonna need to first plan on breaking into Lily's house. So we're gonna need to figure out. We're gonna need to get in and out of there, and get this ring key thing she's got. We're gonna need to make sure that we do it. We don't want to do it too early. We want to make
Hmm.
sure we do it right before we go in.
Oh, yeah, no, she has a shift tomorrow. She'll notice it missing.
Exactly. So I figure we do the wait until the day of. We have the store hours.
Yes, and she's like, they are open from 9 o'clock to 9 o'clock, a standard 12 hour.
Oh, excellent. How
But
about
they stick around an hour afterwards to pack up and get everything set up, and then allow for maybe 15 minutes for them to walk the ladies to their cars.
I say we stake the place out tomorrow night. Make sure we get a good solid feel for how their closed procedures go down. How many are going to be there? What time people come and leave, etc., etc.
Don't
Well, that's
forget that
going
there's a
down.
bar literally right next door. They're going to be open
Okay.
till midnight.
No, I get that. I get that. That's going to cut our time frame that we can get in and get this thing done down by several hours. Where our window's going to be fairly tight, and that's a good point, which is why we want to get all of the information we can ahead of time. I'd like to put Mikey on stakeout tomorrow night, but I feel we'll probably have Mikey and I don't know, Jester. How about the two of you take take first watch on stakeout tomorrow night,
Joker, you mean?
or Joker? Yeah, sorry. Mikey and Joker, why don't you take the first watch on that tomorrow night, and we'll take the second, and we'll get a real good feel for it. Make sure everybody gets at least a little bit of sleep during the daytime, because at nighttime we'll be at work.
Oh, honey, I don't know if I said this or not. Bickle is going to be taking my place in the actual heist. I'm just here as support for before heist. My joints don't work so well, and I'm an old lady. I sleep, sort of thing.
Well, that's that's fair enough. You've done an excellent job so far as it is. Need to risk an asset no need to risk an asset in the danger zone when that's better kept safe at hand.
She says, "Yeah, I think I filled myself with enough holes on my lifetime." And like, it's at this point you notice, like, maybe intentionally, maybe subconsciously, she kind of like scratches at her sleeve, and you notice that there is definitely a bullet scar just peeking out under the sleeve.
Well, be that as it may, I
Okay.
suppose I suppose Pickle and I will take second watch on the stakeout. We're gonna make sure
Bickles,
that we have down to the minute what time they do everything, so that when we get in, so we can get an idea of how we're gonna get in.
Bickles, like, Mikey, what have you got to say?
Listen, I had a thought. We need to hijack the security system because if it's recording what we're doing, the security company's gonna know. So between now and tomorrow night, I need to have network hacking equipment. I mean, I got some on my laptop, but there's a few more pieces that'll allow me to gain access to their network, um, which in that time allows me to collect the footage to make my loop.
Hmm.
And I could use during my surveillance thing tomorrow night. I can gather that, and then I can put it together to upload it when we need to.
Bickle takes out of his pocket one of those little small notebooks uh, with like a pencil sticking out of it, like a real rough carpenter's pencil, and he drops it on the table and says, "This is the fun part. Write down what you guys need. I'll figure out how do you get it."
We need. We're probably gonna want to have some sort of like listening devices. Few bugs might not hurt. Possibly a laser microphone. A good chance we'd need any kind of wiretapping equipment. Obviously, Mikey's going to need some toys for hacking. I think those are probably going to be the most important thing. And we might need a few small component pieces for. Do you think you can break Mikey, you sure you can break a lock to get into this Lily's house? Or do
Oh,
you
it's a regular house. Probably lockpicks to just think. Unless we're gonna break in, make it look like a break in, then we can just kick open the door. But to actually break in there without anybody noticing, yeah, we'll need lock picks and all that type of stuff.
Good, because we don't want anybody to know we were there. We want everybody to think this was Lily's idea, and that's what she was doing.
All right. I have given you guys a notepad that says what we need for the job. Whoever wants to write down that stuff, I will itemize that. Your operating budget is, $75,000. You have that written down. Yeah, you guys have been writing this stuff down. Good.
I've been taking notes.
Hell yes, that is awesome. Very exciting.
So as
But,
far as we know, there are no guards left overnight, correct?
No. There are guards that rotate
Yeah,
overnight.
she was like,
So we're
they
gonna need
actually put
something
guards
to.
back.
We're gonna need
Mhm.
something to either overpower them with or restrain them once they've been overpowered.
Because they do outnumber you by one potentially. It's 3 to 5 guards. You're not quite sure how many they're going to have that night.
And we need to, and there's a pot. That's part of the reason why we need to really see if we can't watch their movements or have some idea of what their movements are inside. If we know some of them play cards in the back, because Pamela brought that information to us. The thing about it is that we could potentially overpower them one at a time. But if there's a group of them playing cards, that won't work in our favor. We either need them separated or we need to have a plan to deal with them all at once.
You want my opinion? The building's way too small to try and deal with them one at a time. We deal with one, the rest of them are gonna hear us.
Exactly. Which is why we need another option.
Bickle says, well, if you need to hire a couple guys, that is possible. However, they are probably going to be... they're probably going to cost a bit. The employer, Plainview, does not like to hire any old Joe Jack off the street. He's very particular. If you want to sort hiring, that's fine, but it's your neck.
What is, so here's the thing. What about gas options? Gas, smoke, anything that might help our odds.
Might be able to find someone. Know a few guys who work in chemical stores, even know a guy who works in pesticide factory. Between those resources, might be able to whip something up.
So we need some kind of... Alright.
Could always pump something in through the vents. AC unit's a good candidate for that.
That was sort of my thought.
True. Other question that we might want to consider. What is gateway? We infill and exfill, but we need car for that. And who is driving car?
Well, we
Unless
still
you
have
want to plainclothes walk the whole way out, that is option, but really tricky option.
No. We need a vehicle and we need to be able to get out. We do have the sedan and the SUV, don't we?
True. Registration is good enough that we can swap out a few times over. Good for civilian driving. Once we use for heist, we trash vehicle. But neither of them are spectacular. They run, but I mean...
I'd say probably the SUV, it's going to have more space.
True.
And we're going to make sure... So the timeline works like this. We Mikey, you're probably... We're gonna stake the place out and what have you. But my basic rough up is that a couple of us are going to watch the place. And after they go home, Mikey, you're going to be in position and waiting to steal that key, that ring. Once you get that, you get in, you get out, make sure it's not traceable. Then we've got to get into that building, filter whatever smoke or gas that we're going to use to get into the building to incapacitate the guards. The fastest, biggest surprise attack we can throw on them. And I don't want to leave bodies, but I also don't want them to see our face. We're going to need masks.
Bickle reaches into the other grocery bag he had by his feet and holds up several ski masks. He says, pantyhose too, if you want to do that instead of masks. And just drops them back in the bag.
Well, that's handy. But if we do it, hopefully we can get something that incapacitates them without us having to get too rough or violent. If we do have to get rough or violent, we don't want them to see who we are. We want to make sure that we take them as fast and as hard as we can.
Hey, Joker.
Mm.
Is that bat corked or is it solid aluminum?
It's hollow. Like most bats you find at the hardware store.
You think it'll bend on one hit, or?
Depends how hard you want me to hit.
You think it's possible for you to wrap in a couple layers of duct tape beforehand? Little bit of blunting?
What do you have in mind?
Well, just that. Couple layers of duct tape, maybe put some foam padding underneath. Still a
Look,
metal
if you need
bat.
me to do this bare-handed, I'm not afraid of some Glocks.
That might be an option as well. I'll leave it to you. And he kind of cracks his knuckles as well and says, I know Krav Maga, so I don't know about. And he looks at Mikey and Khan. Like, I don't know about you two. You guys any good in a fight?
Khan shrugs his shoulders. He's like, I've been in a bar fight or two. I don't know. I says I'd rather not have to test the limits of my abilities if we can avoid it.
It would probably be a good idea if we brought two things to this fight. One, heat, because using it as a threat is almost as good as actually using it.
And
Two, something. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Two, something to actually, well, prevent them from reaching the outside. I know we'll be working on the security system, but cell phones do exist.
Some sort of jammer, then? Sounds like
jammer.
I know a guy who sells ECMs and doesn't ask questions. As for the heat, you still got Terminator's shiny abomination, right?
I was thinking, all it takes is one guard with that to the back of his head. You don't even need to have it loaded.
Yeah, and Bickle holds up his revolver, which this is the first time you get a good look at it not in the dark and rain. It's like a fucking hand cannon. Like, it's 44 Magnum, barrel as big as like your goddamn wrist almost, sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like, slight exaggeration. Says, this has made people piss pants before.
The other half probably thought you were compensating, but I digress.
Bickle smiles and says, so what if I am, big man? Who says you aren't too?
Oh, I think we're going to get along brilliantly.
Yeah, God just shakes his head, and it kind of almost a smart ass comment, like grabs his crotch and goes, "This has pissed its pants before." Are we good? No, are we good now, or are we? Can we get back to the planning at hand?
That was planning.
You actually
that was
get it?
very, very important part of planning.
Yeah, you actually get a slight smirk from Bickle. And yeah, and also like fucking Pamela is just like, I'm closing my ears, heavens to Betsy, like sort of thing. Um but yeah, Pickle's like, well, sounds like we have some sort of plan moving forward. I can get on shopping list here soon. Do any of you others need heat? Any kind of gun?
It might be good to have a pistol. I really don't want to have one, but you never know.
Mm-hmm. Sounds
Yeah.
good.
I spend most of my time behind a computer or something, but you never know when a gun might be handy.
You know
He-
what? If you can find me like a blackjack, those old school little blackjacks, it might be my style too. You know.
He's like, oh, you're wanting to sap someone in back of head? I like.
Well, I prefer to put people unconscious than to put them in the grave if I can help it. There's a lot less mess on the other end of it.
Yeah, Bickle actually starts like taking notes in a separate notepad. And then like puts the notepad back in his pocket. And is like, either of you shotgun before?
I could probably use it. I don't know. But I'd rather have something smaller.
Right, I'll get you sap. Mikey, you shoot gun before?
I think I did once when I was
Alright.
really, but
If
No.
you're not 100% confident you're coming to range training with me tonight. I don't give guns to people who shoot their own feet off.
Colin just kidding us. It seems like a good policy.
Yeah. And yeah. So maybe at that Bickle is like, right, so we seem to have good happy. Fill out notepad there with what you need. We will get everything sorted. Mikey, and he like tosses you like an address on like a slip of paper. He's like, meet me there, 8 o'clock. And it's like, do we have any other questions before we break meeting?
I got a lot of questions. I'm just not sure you could answer most of them.
Babies come from man and woman loving each other very much. No, the political system doesn't work. And yes, my cookie recipe is completely secret. And like he like says, all right, meeting adjourned.
I'm glad we
And-
all trust one another.
And Bickle freezes for just a second and turns around and goes, oh, don't worry. I don't trust any of you. And I don't expect you to trust any of anyone else. But remember, honor among thieves, big fucking paycheck. And he walks out the door.
All right, Mr.
Um,
Big Shot. Your
Mhm.
plan. You want it
And-
to work. You got to put the gears together.
And,
so that's talking to Jesta.
yeah.
Oh, right. So code cracking, network IP, video editing, gas or smoke, SAP 9mm. What
I
else
think
did we need?
I think with this part we can actually do this off screen because it is about 15 after 1. And I think it is about time to call it for the night. So let us get off to sign offs. So let's start with Scott.
sorry, middle of a drag.
You're good.
Scott, Psych, whatever. Played Mikey. I really like this character because, I have personal knowledge of myself that most people don't think I know about. But I took like 2 years of programming classes. So I know how to break into a network if I had to.
Nice.
So it kind of brings out parts of me that most people don't know about. So it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
All right, what else am I in? So tomorrow, if we go ahead with Ballad of the Menagerie, I'm going to be playing chess. And I have no idea where we're at. And it's probably take a moment for us to get back to figure out where we were doing. We were on a planet. That's all I remember. And then every other Saturday when we do the bitter ends, I play Castiel. He's kind of an angel out there, and he became the big dad and told one of the people, "No, we're not stopping. We're getting to our destination." And now that dude's mad at me. The little child is mad at me. Aw.
Yeah, he is.
And then on Monday night when we do Fire Strike, I play Xander, where he is at the point where that code needs to be found for the cipher thing. Because somebody's used it already and messed things up already. So he needs the code, he needs the cipher so he can set things back the way they should be. And yeah, maybe do other things. We don't know yet. We'll see. And then the other games, I got a lot of games. Give me a minute. On Tuesday, what is it? Lester Bridge?
Ulster Bridge.
Ulster Bridge.
Ulster Bridge.
Well, in that game, I played Isabella. And me as a person, I'm not very social, not very good. But that game on Tuesday, has forced me to be more outgoing because the person I run with is a very shy, quiet person like me. So it gives me a chance to play a different role that I'm not really used to playing. So that's kind of cool. I kind of like that system. We got jobs, so that's all that matters. Now we got money, I guess. All right.
Well, paycheck coming in anyway.
Yeah. And then come on Wednesday in Hench to Mensch, I play Knight. And for the life of me, my brain just went blank on what we're doing. I don't know. We took Anvil. Anvil fell apart. We're building up our own organization, and I'm in charge of the money of the new organization. People think that's a bad idea, but hey, I'm good with money.
I love that. People think that's a bad idea.
I like the idea, just from what I've heard about Knight, the idea that you're putting together an evil supervillain organization. And I just imagine that instead of buying weapons, he just buys a shitload of snack cakes. So when
Yeah.
your people go into battle, they're just like, what do we use to fight? I don't know, but we got all these snack cakes.
Quick, throw a Twinkie at him. Shit.
Oh no, we get the snack cakes for free. We don't have to spend money on those.
Oh, hell yeah.
And that's everything with me, I think. Yeah, because then we're back to Thursday.
Hell yeah. All right, let's go on to Jesta.
Oh my god, I'm yawning. Whew. Sorry.
You're good.
Alrighty. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I am the Just King Zerat. You can catch me here on Monday nights for Fire Strike, my favorite group of space pirates, space terrorists, and never-do-wells. You can also catch me on Tuesday nights for Osel Bridge, where I also play a character that is way out of type for me because my character is shy and lacks self-confidence. It's really interesting playing a character like that because that is completely not who I am. Wednesdays, I'm not doing anything, but Thursdays you can catch me here just like you did tonight, playing Con for Fast Cars Clear Gyms. Con, the mastermind, who has pretty much to this point mostly just sort of been like, he's kind of gathering the information at this point, trying to piece together, like picking up the best parts of everybody's plans and figuring out how to put it together in a way where we frame somebody completely the fuck else for doing what we're about to do. And you can also catch me here on Friday nights for the Ballad of the Menagerie. I'm hoping that we will be on tomorrow. We may be only 3 of us, and there may be a 4th joining afterwards, because one of the other people who's going to be in it can't make it tomorrow. But let's see, and every other Saturday for the bitter ends, our Wave World sessions. The funny thing about it is that yeah, of their entire group, their combat expert is the child. the
True.
small the small child is their fighter. Everyone
So,
else, like,
Wes,
Rockstar,
what?
DJ, mechanic,
Yeah. What did I
healer.
what did I miss, by the way?
You guys went back to the rocky road. You missed that one of Starlight's you we named 2 of Starlight's people. One is Todd, who is
Nice.
fucking Todd, and
Fucking Todd. That sounds good.
another one is Becky. And we've figured out that Becky is completely clueless and not really good at anything, but she's super cheery. And Todd is just the guy that, like, Starlight curses at all the time.
Oh yeah. Oh
Um,
yeah.
we figured out that they did try to go. They did go to the Rocky Road Islands. They passed kind of by where Eot's den is, and he kind of wanted to go home, but they were like, "Nope, we're trying to get this other thing done." Uh, and there was a moment between Castiel and Eot, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and then they started when they got to the Rocky Roads, they found out that the island they went to, Skip an Isle,
Mm-hmm.
is under new management. Um, and
Hmm.
Starlight is temporarily picking up jobs, fixing things. Um, I think Eot is running around running messages or scavenging or something. Um, you know, Lemmy is basically trying to find an excuse to throw a concert. And Castiel is healing people because a lot of people were injured in the last attack from the Grantfeld.
I simply hope that it was noted that Greasy was vomiting below deck because he gets very seasick.
It was very specifically noted that
Yeah.
that Greasy was holding onto a bucket, vomiting pathetically into it.
Thank God. Thank God. Sorry to derail.
No, you're good. You can also occasionally catch me on that other channel of mine, Zerat. I swear I'm gonna actually get on there and start streaming again at some point. But I haven't yet. Um, and with that said, that is all of me for the time being, as far as I know. So I'm gonna kick this one on down the road to the next person.
All right, Gunner.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Cyrus Smith, and you just caught me playing Joker. The strong man that did reconnaissance today, and then was told, well, it was basically, "Hey, person you were with, great job." Oh, let's not mention you, Joker. Yeah,
Hey, now.
that didn't make him very happy at all.
I will say, at some point, Pamela definitely tells you good job.
Oh, sure,
Oh, no.
Pamela. That makes sense for Pamela, but
No,
right.
Connor will probably say it. Connor will probably say it at some point too. But
Mhm.
fucking,
But yeah, all I'm saying is that's just how Joker feels at the moment. Be
okay,
aware, be
fine,
aware that
fine.
Joker's not just a body you put places. You may
Hey,
not like his modus operandi, but
hey, realize that the whole smoke or gas to incapacitate people was Khan specifically taking one of Joker's ideas because it was a good idea.
Very true.
so just saying. Let's see here. Um, let's see. But you can also catch me playing. Let's see. This Sunday, I run Tales from the Cosmos, where our band of heroes or ne'er-do-wells or whatever they end up being after this session Well, we're back in Brunton, and yeah, they promised they would help Bob with going to his manor and meeting his family, which is actually kind of going to be a problem considering his wife died and nobody's told him that yet. So that's going to be interesting. You can also find me on Monday playing Twinkle Bailey, the isekai, who helped beat some aliens. Well, you know, when you say aliens in a game like Starfinder, it really doesn't narrow anything down, does it?
Right?
No, not at all.
Help beating some radiation demons, Pluprex. I
Yes.
know that's their name, but yeah. And now he's gonna have to take some rat away before things get bad. You can also find me on Wednesdays where I'm playing in, oh gosh, Hench to Mensch, where yes, we've decided, you know, oh god, what was Anvil even? It was a crap.
It was a temp company.
Yes, a temp company. We said, you know, temp companies are so 3 months ago. You know what's in now? Logistics companies. And I would like to point out that basically everything is free for us if we successfully apply a 5-finger discount. So it's not just snack cakes. Although it's a large part of it is snack cakes. We are currently working on, let's see, getting a warehouse with some offices loaded up. And
I'm telling you, Hostess is gonna catch on.
well, all the poor convenience stores are probably putting down a record loss due to theft.
Yeah.
Ashes is a big city. We'll cover it, just as long as someone doesn't, go to the same one too many times.
Oh, Knight goes a whole city. He's like got different convenience stores, entire city of ashes that he chooses from, and they're separated like 3 months apart before he hits that next one again.
He has a little circuit he hits.
He's a methodical man.
Yeah. And we're planning on turning his secret cave out in the middle of nowhere into a secret headquarters for us. And we're going to connect our warehouse and our secret cave headquarters with like a little trolley system. But we were also thinking like a submarine system. You just put water between there, and then just have our little submarine. Because
sounds convoluted, extra, and very evil genius. I love it.
And we're going to have the Disney World animatronics there singing, "It's a small world after all."
Oh, beautiful.
We have to make a trip to steal those at some point. Anyways, that brings us back to today. So that's it for me.
All right. And that leaves, hold on. 1, 2, 3. Yep, that's all my players. Hello, everybody. My name is Mike, also known as Win 5, Get 1 Free. And you have caught me today running Fast Cars Clear Gyms. Something in the, fuck, what is this system called again? The fucking leverage. Thank you. I kept wanting to say legacy for some reason. But yeah, running in the leverage system. We've got a heist on deck. We've got a little bit more prep work and the heist itself to do, so I'm very excited for that. Also, I got to introduce both Pamela and Plainview, 2 characters I love. All right. So you can also catch me on every other Saturday for the Bitter Inns when I am not doing Valentine's Day stuff, where I play Greasy, the coolest man in the wasteland, except for when he's not, which is all the time. He's also the DJ for 6.66 KRUST The Crust, the hottest shit that floated to the top of the bathtub, which has been blasting, huh?
That kills me every time.
Every time. I know. I love it. I mean, we're in a flooded world. Why wouldn't he be the shit that floated to the top of the bathtub? But no, he's been blasting nothing but Lemmy Pop Stardust and then all sorts of different bands like the Crystal Shits and all sorts of stuff like that. If anyone caught that reference, I give you 5 applauses. There we go. You can also catch me on Mondays, where I am part of the Fire Shrike in Fire Shrike. Well, actually, I'm part of the Blue Ember. As Paralictor or ex-Paralictor Burn Ward, depending on what day you ask him. You can also catch me coming up with the big bad final showdown. Bum, 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 bum. With Matthias Merch Deishborg and his band of merry fucking adventurers, where they're going to go on a showdown toe-to-toe with Shaba and the crew of the Fire Shrike that they fucking blew up! It's pretty sick, and I'm very excited about it. You can also catch me, that's it. If you are currently watching on Twitch, you should be watching on YouTube 24/7, beaming us into your eyeballs so you slowly but surely transform into a paragon of Paradise Theater. And also like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that wacky bell beside the subscribe button so you can get notifications whenever we upload and shit. You can also catch us on Twitch if you're currently watching on YouTube at twitch.tv/para_dice_theater. Because you know what? If you're watching YouTube, that's great, but you're behind. And you need to be up to date to the second. What if we say something that's groundbreaking and thoughtful and slightly political, but not in a way that turns people... What if the next Martin Luther King Jr.? That took that joke too far. What if we're the next awesome... Catch us on Twitch. And if you also happen to like scheduling, because everyone loves scheduling, you happen to like community interaction because you love community interaction and you love hot memes, catch us at Pair Theater. My name is Mike, also known as Win5. Get one free. You can catch my music coming up soon. We're going to release something right after Valentine's Day, but we hit a hitch. The song is done. It just needs to be uploaded. Might get it uploaded on Saturday. I will give you an update the next game that we have. It should probably be uploaded by then. But yeah, that is us. That is Fast Cars, Clear Gems. Let's get an RIP Terminator and get the fuck out of here. RIP Terminator.